Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back for episode 3 of Ahsoka. If this video is up a little bit later than usual, you can blame Jay over at Previewed for inviting me over for Mario Party Tuesdays, where I didn't even win this time. Managed to pull in front of him and that master level bot at least, so I'll take that as a victory. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get into Ahsoka, guys. If you want to see the full-length reaction, you check those out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, gets you access as well. It's in watch-along format. You just need to sync up your own footage with the time code, so my reaction the entire episode. Get the same thing for all the other shows and movies that we cover in the channel. You also get to suggest and vote on what movies to react to each month. We got monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage to try to make it worth your while, so you're going to support the channel. But guys, I'd really appreciate it if you enjoy this reaction to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already, because it really helps us out. But with that all said and out of the way, let's hop into episode 3. Here we go. Oh, yo. Yo. Dude. Oh.
Not bad, but not good.
Oh.
I see you still remember the basics. Enough to get by?
Barely.
He's brutally honest, at least.
I discovered that according to Huyang, I'm the worst candidate to be a Jedi out of every Jedi he's ever known. You told her that?
It's true.
Oh my god. I love it.
Here, put this on. You're joking. I can't see. How am I supposed to fight?
Oh my gosh, here we go. Classics.
See with more than just your eyes. Do you know where I am? Next to Huyang. Are you sure?
Oh, whoa.
Very funny. You'd be dead. Not if I could see you. Exactly. Now lower your visor and concentrate. Ready position. Feel my presence. Take an all.
Dude, this is neat.
Follow my voice. Sense my intention.
Dude, I love those Boken. The design on it is nice. I love that we're taking the time to do this. And this music, too, is really good. Oh! It just makes me wonder if Ahsoka was meeting her to give her something, or if that was actually her sinking in for a moment. Either or, it's still cool. Oh! Oh, close!
Anger and frustration are quick to give power, but they also unbalance you. Let's go again.
Dude. Hell yeah. That was a solid opening. Part 3, time to fly.
Chancellor Mothma, senators.
Hera,
Yo.
you look well. How's young Jason?
Fine, Chancellor. In fact, he's on board. Somewhere.
Will we see him?
Forgive me, Madam Chancellor, but if we could just hear the General's report. We're late as it is.
Quite right, Senator Ziono.
As I understand it, I think he's from Resistance, but I've never watched it, or has some connection to it.
We have former Imperials working throughout every level of the New Republic government.
That's just what that guy said. Almost those exact words.
Live the Empire doesn't sound like the kind of loyalty we're looking for. But I believe their activity speaks to a larger operation.
It always does.
Involving Thrawn.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Isn't this just another attempt to gain New Republic resources to aid in what has ultimately been your personal quest to find Ezra Bridger?
Ezra vanished while fighting Thrawn.
And that you conveniently use a threat of Thrawn's return to acquire those resources that could be put to a more practical purpose, helping the people of our fledgling republic.
Were you ever in the war, Senator?
No.
Just sat back and waited to see who came out on top?
Ooh. Going for blood right now.
The Imperial fleet is scattered and broken. They have no centralized command.
Unless Thrawn returns. Thrawn is not your typical Imperial officer. I know because I fought against him.
Grand Admiral Thrawn is dead. And I'm sorry to say it is my opinion that your friend Ezra Bridger heroically died with him.
You don't know that.
General, Hera, allow me a moment to speak with my colleagues.
That went well.
Hey, Mom!
Oh!
Is it true Aunt Sabine is gonna be a Jedi?
Now, where did you hear that?
Chopper told me. I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah, I know you do, Jason.
I was hoping that the urgency of our situation could expedite my training a bit.
I'm afraid
Doesn't always work that way. Oh, damn.
I can't use the Force.
The Force resides in all living things, even you.
Everyone has the potential
If that's
for
true,
it.
then why doesn't everyone use it?
Talent is a factor, but training and focus are what truly defines someone's success.
Some just have to push harder than others.
Not everyone can handle the type of discipline it takes to master the ways of the Force. Start small.
Ahsoka, I'm going to give this my best.
I would expect no less.
You both knew this wouldn't be easy.
Well, what you said didn't help.
I only spoke the truth. The Jedi Order would not have accepted her. She is not an acceptable candidate.
By their standards.
Standards which were proven over a millennia.
Failed.
You realize, historically, there have been very few Mandalorians who ever became a Jedi.
I don't need Sabine to be a Jedi. I need her to be herself.
No. I suppose you do come from a long line of non-traditional Jedi. In that way, she fits right in.
Way to bring that up. That's one way to put it. That's actually how I put it, I think, actually. Still, he's not wrong.
Sabine, I've got Hera.
Damn.
You win this round.
Cup 1, Sabine 0.
Unfortunately, I won't be joining you for this one. And neither will the fleet.
What?
Great. Saw that coming.
But it's not up to me. I have to follow the order.
Hera?
Huyang, what's happened?
Why'd we drop out of hyperspace so far from the planet?
Standard Jedi mission protocol when approaching an unknown situation. In order to avoid enemy surveillance.
He's still doing this?
Programming.
My last scan indicates the transport was in orbit on the far side of the planet. However, there also seems to be a second object, something much larger. Whatever it is has a signature which is unknown to me.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow.
Tail gun check-in. I see you got rid of my presets.
Remember, learn to anticipate.
Now's not the time for a lesson!
Every time's a time for a lesson, if it helps.
Huyang, anything yet?
On the object, no. However, I have several thoughts on everything else going on.
Huyang,
The way you're both acting, there won't be a later.
Sabine, tell me what you need. Move on my signal?
Aw. There we go.
All right. Get ready.
Adapting. Gotta play to her strengths.
Dive. I had them, but missed.
Don't worry about it. You'll get another chance. We got 2 more incoming.
Dead ahead.
Dude, I love his armor.
Good work.
Don't get penisy.
Port now.
Oh, not bad. The shields on their ship are great. There it is. Oh, I was thinking before I was going into this, before I started anything, that I feel like there was something I wanted to say that came to me after the fact about the first 2 episodes, and I couldn't remember it for the intro, but I just remember what it was. I did finally go back and see that the spelling for the Eye of Sion is the same as Darth Sion. And what was different about him? He had that one big white eye. I wonder if that's what that's a reference to. Obviously, there's other ways you can manifest a meaning behind it, but that's where I'm going right now.
If I had to guess, I would say it is some sort of hyperspace ring.
I'd like to confirm that.
Morgan, they're entering your sector.
Dude, that thing looks wicked.
I am starting to receive data. How interesting. I would never have guessed that.
Get everything you need?
Not yet. See if you can get a little closer.
I love Huyang, man.
This is intolerable.
You want it closer. Deflectors at 10%.
Try spinning. That's a neat trick.
Scan complete.
Oh! That timing.
What's working? Not much. Our backup kicked in, but we're dead in space. No hyperdrive, no cannons.
We got incoming. Work fast. I'm going out there.
Out there?
What?
Out where? Just keep working.
Gonna do what I think she's gonna do.
We have them.
Yo.
I see her.
I love his voice modulation. Dude, we heard stories of Luke doing this, and now we actually get to see someone doing it. Got too close, dude.
Ahsoka. Sabine. Ship yet? I got it. I got it. Great. Now get me.
Hey, at least doing that cost her a little bit. Lost her footing. Nice.
Another ship?
No.
Oh! Oh! Yo! Hot damn. Stay on target. Stay on target. Oh God. Dude, this is wicked. It's a whole pod too, man. Ooh. Oof. Did we lose them, or are we gonna get the jump on them? Jump it is. Or no, we made it out. Hell yeah.
And complete.
Welcome back.
What did I miss?
Not much. I like that though, like the way that they kind of learned to lean each other a little bit more. Ahsoka had to relinquish a little bit of control a little bit to let Sabine flex. And we got to see that in turn go the other way as well.
Shut the power down.
I protest. I have a lot of work to do.
Standard Jedi protocol.
I suppose that's true.
Shutting down?
He's like, well, you got me there. Their color scheme on their ship also matches the environment conveniently enough.
Any sign of them? They must be hiding in the forest. Let's regroup.
Oh, that's gorgeous, man.
A craft with these power levels and configuration would be capable of a hyperspace jump of astonishing speed and distance.
Huyang, could a ring like that make a jump to a neighboring galaxy?
Theoretically, if one knew the coordinates and navigation, yes, I believe
We're doing it, man.
The Jedi archives speak of intergalactic hyperspace lanes between galaxies, which used to follow the migration paths of star whales named Purgle.
Interesting.
Like the ones we just saw.
Really?
Yo, that would line up. Dude, he looked his whole vibe is just badass, man. Dude, the music in this show. Yeah, I expected this one to be shorter. A lot of the more action-heavy ones tend to be, but that was a great episode. I loved the entire build of it. While, yes, it is shorter than the last two, it never felt rushed. It never felt like we just dodged away from certain moments. It did everything that it needed to do while it had its time. I'm not one of those stickler who thinks that we need to linger longer than we need to. I like when each episode is it's like a chapter in a book. Not every chapter is going to be the same length, as long as we are getting the story out. And this basically is like the end of this section, and we'll be moving to the next one. That's like how I see it. And I think they did a really good job with this. And I love that opening, the way we really kind of lived in this training exercise with Sabine and Ahsoka, and, you know, with the exchange of feeling, sensing, and expanding your senses beyond yourself, taking it back to some very core tenets that we be very familiar with, taking it back to Luke on the Falcon, learning to wield the saber for the first time and deflect the blaster bolts from the training droid. Like, that's what it takes me back to. And obviously, a fair amount of people are probably going to bump into the fact of her even trying to this, or how this may or may not devalue the Force or anything like this. But this lines up with how George has always spoken of the Force. Every living being has potential for the Force because it flows through and connects all life. All living beings are imbued with the Force. It's just talent, discipline, and a level of genetics do play into how well and how easy that comes to you. But even as Lucas has said before at a time, anyone, just like an athlete, like everybody might be born with a different aptitude for a certain type of thing. But if you discipline yourself and you push yourself and work at it, anyone can achieve it through said work. So like, it's there, and Huyang is not going to let us forget that she is she is trash by any regular Jedi standards. But Ahsoka doesn't believe in any regular Jedi methods. Obviously, she's more tapped in and honed in. It does believe that there's at least value in teaching these things to her, whether she can get a grasp on it or not. And I do believe that. And she is also coming to this from a very different angle, where she's like, and those traditions failed. I'm doing something different, you know. And I like that Huyang even called that out as well. It's like, yeah, well, you do, I guess that lines up, right? You do come from a non-traditional lineage, if it were, from the way that you were taught and the way that you are now teaching your Padawan. I mean, I do think that if Sabine sticks to it, at the very minimum, we should see us start to kind of potentially enhance her reflexes in certain moments. Because even Han, his ability to just kind of manipulate the odds in like desperate situations is attributed to the Force itself. Like, so it is a lot of fun little ways that this could play, and depending on how they want to take it. And then once everything kicked in, once they got this little tidbit on where they jumped to, and they found the Denab system, and they found the ring, they were engaged by their protecting forces, and we had ourselves a dogfight, which was a bulk of this episode, was that chase and them avoiding and evading all of this. And again, on the flip side of that with Hera, we're getting to see a little bit more of the hubris involved with the New Republic, and whether that is truly and genuinely their angle, or if anybody on that council may even be privy to or in compliance with anything that might benefit Thrawn's growth, we don't really know. From their, at least, perspective, Hera just seems like somebody who's hanging on to a personal goal and vendetta, and might just be trying to push for that. I don't know. It is this like, oh, the Empire's gone, this feigned like victory that they seem to be lauding over everybody with a sense of power, just to kind of keep things moving forward, rather than worrying about the threats within or without even. Like, it's just this contentment that is eventually, I just look at everything we've been seeing with the New Republic, just all the ways. So I know some people are kind of tired about how hard they've been hammering it in, but with just how brutally the New Republic falls, I think this more than sets it up. I remember watching a breakdown for one of the Ahsoka trailers, and I think that one guy that was very apprehensive, I believe he's connected to one of the characters in Star Wars Resistance. Again, as I mentioned before, I actually haven't watched Star Wars Resistance, so I'm not sure how much that tracks, but that's what I've heard. You know, he's very vocal about not really being on board with this. And I like that Hera called him out on it. So I liked her passion, her fervent, for just a moment when, like, he challenged that for her to, like, accept that Ezra's dead. For a moment, she just broke face. Like, the General Hera was gone, and that was just Hera. There is a personal investment in this. There is also a pragmatic investment in this as well. It's just, you can't necessarily unravel the two. Thrawn, should he be alive, should be treated as a A-class threat. Let's be real. And we got to see Jason, and he was looking great, green hair and all. Though, the transition from animation to live action, some of the more kind of like alien features seem to be dialed back a little bit, and maybe that was just the aesthetical differences, but I liked seeing him here, and then Chopper and their little bond. You know, I love seeing that. Genevieve O'Reilly, seeing her here as Mon Mothma was also a nice little treat. And then Shin Hati can pilot that starfighter into my heart. And we actually got to hear Marok talk. I love his voice, the way they've modulated his voice. I love the sound. Again, who knows? The character could be a red herring. Obviously, he fits into the wolf motif that Shin and Baylan fall into as well. So who knows? There may or may not be more to that. I know a lot of people are thinking Starkiller. I know a lot of people are thinking Ezra. Again, if we've been following along, I don't think it's Ezra. It very much could be just some unnamed, previously unnamed Inquisitor from before that is still hanging around and has since discarded those values and joined up with Baylan and Shin for whatever they are trying to achieve or accomplish, which we still don't quite know what their end goal is. Yeah. And we are going to be jumping galaxies. And I thank you guys for confirming that for me. I thought I had a grasp on that we haven't ever really left, at least in this canon, we've never left the galaxy. All of canon Star Wars has taken place within the singular galaxy here because hyperdrives don't have the size, power, or magnitude to get them to the neighboring star systems, which is why all of these hyperdrives on their size and scale and quantity are necessary to get this ring to jump to where they need to go, following these intergalactic hyperspace lanes that the Purrgil follow, which ties us into how Thrawn and Ezra may or may not have gotten there by those very same whales taking those very same hyperspace lanes, taking them out of the galaxy. Obviously, I think this episode, though, did have some of that Rebels vibe to it, with a little bit of the playfulness that came out in the moment, and I'm sure we'll be hearing about it in the comments, and we'll be hearing about it online and on Twitter and all that, like Ahsoka getting out in the ship and standing on the hull and lightsaber and the starfighters and all that. I mean, supposedly it was in, I think that, I can't remember what it was called. It was that anthology book about people telling tales that they heard about Luke Skywalker throughout the remainder of the war. It's like just people telling the stories that they had heard of, like, Luke Skywalker. And one of them was that he literally left his X-Wing and fought the starfighters in space with his lightsaber. And here we actually got to see that happen with Ahsoka, which is kind of interesting. And it's always been feasible. It's just nobody's ever done it. You're very vulnerable in that position. And I like to get that one slashing kill herself. Had Sabine not powered the ship back on, she lost her footing in that. So it was a trade-off that may not have paid off in the end if she didn't have adequate backup. She did what they could to defend the ship as long as they needed to get everything back up. And I'm curious what all Huyang's been able to discern on this ship from downloading whatever information he was able to slice from it. Again, Huyang is a lovely character, and I love that we're getting to see so much of him. And he is blunt, he is to the point, he doesn't sand off any corners. He comes in with the cold, hard truth, and I love that. Like, it's very much he adds like a levity to this that's a lot of fun. Aside from just the visual goofiness of Ahsoka being outside the ship and all of that, and her just like, Sabine, you ready yet? Just floating across the cockpit in the front. A little cartoony, but I enjoyed it because this was there was a strong energy behind this episode that I really liked. Yeah, but that's all I got for this one. So what'd you guys think? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. And remember, if you want to see the full length reaction, check that out over on Patreon. Or if you become a member of the channel, get you access as well. And speaking of, before you go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Manny Sherritt, Ryan Karen, Yori Coruscant, Margaret Grace, Melito, Robert Anguiano, Jeffrey Hale, M. Several, Jake Cantrell, and Eric Official. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. That's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. And until then, may the Force be with you always. Take care, everybody.